I don't want to be smelling weed or whatever they are. I can smell it right now.
Or any of the other stuff that you smell. This is Jake College reporting for Keep Dallas Safe here in downtown Dallas. Today we are back out here again in our old stomping grounds, our favorite place, to ask people some questions about homelessness, what their opinion is on giving money, food, other resources out to homeless people that they encounter on the street. Now, you may have done this. I've been guilty of this in the past. It's no secret, of course, that a lot of the people out here are not out here because they've just simply fallen on hard times and they need some help. A lot of the people are out here because they have very severe drug problems or mental health issues. And so what we want to figure out is if it's really a good idea to give cash to the homeless. Now, even Dallas, the city of Dallas, which is so friendly to vagrants, gives them free housing, free resources without any work or sobriety requirements. Even Dallas, a vagrants, panhandlers paradise, says that you should not give money to the homeless. So let's see what the people of Dallas think. Do you give money or food? Do you hand out anything to homeless people that you encounter on the streets?
Depending on the situation, because it's really a little hard to gauge. You don't want to enable their addiction or the things that make them like that, but I also can't ignore a hungry person. So it kind of puts you, I think it's more of a moral judgment thing.
I think it's great to give, right? But the idea to just give because you feel bad is sort of like has loose ends, because you never really know where that money's going. I know that I want to do it, but I want to have a system in place that when I do it, I can assure myself that where that is, I know where that is going.
If we're by a restaurant and stuff, I'll invite them in, get them a little combo, whatever it is. But I stay away from getting them food, not food, money, just because I don't know where it's going. I'd rather know that they're getting fed over them using it for other things. I'm not going to say what those things may be, but I'd rather know that they're eating.
Well, I used to be a restaurant owner down here, and I'm part of different groups and organizations that we promote helping the shelters, helping the source that helps them, instead of giving the homeless people money or food. I've done it in the past where you give them food and they're like, what is this? And they throw it on the floor. They don't like it, So it's like, I'd rather help the community by helping the sources that can help them. That's up to them if they're going to utilize that.
That is not my practice. It used to be, but my priest has told us that we should resist that because, once again, for everyone that's on the street, they can have food and a shower if they want.
Now, a quick note. One thing that's interesting about the city's proscriptions about giving cash out to the homeless, you might think, it's probably not a good idea to give cash to people who live on the street and have severe drug addictions. But the reason that they don't want you to give stuff, at least according to the website, the reason they don't want you to just give stuff out, the reason they want you to give responsibly, as the campaign is titled, is because they're afraid that a buildup of food left out and litter will attract rodents and other stray animals that will gnaw away at the city's electrical system and shut down the grid downtown. That's what they say. Is that the case, or is it more plausible that homeless people with drug addictions will buy drugs with the cash? The city of Dallas has this policy. It's the same policy employed in LA and other large cities throughout the country called Housing First. And the idea is the best way to help a homeless person, according to them, is that you want to get them in housing as fast as possible, let them stabilize, and then they get their life back on track. It sounds good, but the problem is that this program doesn't have any work or sobriety requirements or any mental health requirements. So a lot of times what happens is these people get in there and the city's paying for their housing and stuff, but then they end up right back on the street because they don't get any actual help. Right. Do you think that the city is enabling vagrants, and what do you think would be a better way to handle it?
The saying goes, you could take a horse to water, but you can't make them drink it, They're adults, you would hope that they can fend for themselves, that you give them a roof over their head and they can do the rest, from there, get cleaned up, whatever. But at the end of the day, people have their bad habits, and if they continue to do them, then that's on them, you know what I mean?
I think that before we give away housing to anyone, We should help them first have the necessary skills and abilities to maintain a house.
I think that even though it's a great program, what really needs to be focused on, and it's a problem that I've noticed, is their mental health. A lot of them are not getting the care needed for their mental health. That's why we see a lot of people with schizophrenic issues, bipolar disorders, things like that. It's the mental health that we need to tackle in the homeless community, because it's what's causing most of the problems. It's what's causing them to not want to seek out help because of their mental health. They may see that it's that people that are trying to help them is the enemy.
I think it's providing opportunity. And to me, that just shows that like we are here and we're able to offer you something. But there's so many individuals that live on this earth, it's hard to control everybody. It's the sense of control, and it's like, well, if we were perfect and everybody could be monitored and everybody could be tracked, sure, I guess there could be some improvements, but the idea that we're already providing this kind of stuff is offering that second chance. To me, that's already a lot to begin with. You're giving something to somebody, and when you give something, there's usually certain conditions, right?
Yeah.
And so when it comes to the fine print, if somebody's gonna give out these things, yeah, I think it's very comparable. Like, hey, like these are the guidelines. Whether you like it or not, I know it sucks, but this is the best we can do at this moment. Whether you want to follow it or not, it's up to you, but there it is. Take it or leave it.
All right, so here's the recap. We talked to several people today asking if they give out money, whether it's cash or food or whatever, to homeless people in the city of Dallas. They all said no, actually, to the money part at least. However, a couple of them did say, well, I'll give out food. To which I replied, of course, here's even the city of Dallas, which is way homeless friendly. They don't require work or sobriety in order to get free housing if you're a vagrant in Dallas. So even the city, who loves to enable them, says not to give out food because it can cause pest problems, makes the city unclean, and also it does just enable them. Even if it's not cash that they can spend on money, the food that you give them frees up other cash that they can then use on their drug addiction. So what's interesting is that we know, as a society, people know that you're not supposed to give money, and in most cases you're not supposed to give food directly to these people because it enables them in their mental health issues, their homelessness, their drug addiction, whatever. So with that being the case, we know that most people in Dallas, and maybe even in most major cities, are probably not enabling vagrants with cash handouts. So the main perpetrator, the main offender here, is the city of Dallas, who wants to give free housing, free food, vouchers, credit cards, Obama phones, whatever, to the people who live out on the streets without requiring them to work, without requiring them to prove their sobriety. And what happens is a ballooning, a swelling of the homeless population. And then suddenly the city begins to complain, well, there's just too many of them. We don't know how to solve the problem. The problem needs to be solved. They talk about humane solutions, harm reduction. Does this look like harm reduction to you? Does this look like a healthy, humane way to deal with people? I don't think so. The city council, the city manager, the mayor, they need to figure something out. Stop enabling vagrants. Stop making it easy for people to live on the streets, stealing public space for private use. This is Jake College reporting here in downtown Dallas for Keep Dallas Safe.